But we have been asking the question this afternoon, what have Bishop John Hooper, Chris Evans and a terrorist got in common? Well, our reporter, Simon Williams, I think has got a few of the answers for us.
Oh yes, doesn't this sound lovely? Well, I am stood in one corner of St Mary's Square in Gloucester. To one side of me, the Hooper's Memorial statue, I knew I'd get that wrong, and the other side, St Mary's Gate, where of course she watched the burning of Bishop Hooper. Now joining me are the members of the Exile Theatre Group, taking part in the Gloucester Festival 95 this year, and their performance is Shades in Time and Martyrs. And it's basically, I suppose, what I've been told, it centres around the life and times of Bishop John Hooper and Chris Evans.
I have decided to discover the state of my parishes, make sure that they are no longer hankering after the ways of the Pope, make sure that they are leading their flocks properly. To do this, we must ask the layman whether his priest's service is satisfactory, whether he's learning anything from the priest. Get to it.
Wonderful stuff, yes.
Okay, hello and welcome to Don't Forget Your Bible. Hello to the boys.
Hello.
Hello to the girls.
Hello.
Okay, our first contestant tonight is Mr. A. Vicar.
Ooh.
Mr. A. Vicar, come on through.
Oh, that's me.
That's
Oh,
right,
I can't
it's you.
believe it.
Have you got your cassette
Incredible.
pack?
Yes.
Have you remembered your Bible?
Of course I have.
Okay, we can play. And remember, if you lose, you get to lose your entire parish.
Right.
If you win, you get to spend the entire day whispering in the Gloucester Cathedral Whispering Gallery. It really does exist.
Wow.
Okay, first question, and it's a toughie. Where can you find the Lord's Prayer? Is it A, Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verses 9 to 13, beginning, "This then is how you should pray"? Or B, under a rock? Or C, in a small bottle marked leeches?
Oh, well, I'd like to say B, but I think that's far too obvious. Look, I'm going to go out on a limb with this one. I'm going to say C.
It's the wrong answer!
Oh.
And remember, of course, you can still win, but you can also lose. Next question. Who made up the Lord's Prayer? Was it the Lord, Jesus Christ, or B, Geoffrey Chaucer, or C, a small bottle marked leeches?
Oh, well, it wasn't C last time, so it's got to be C this time. It's C.
You're sure?
Yeah, C.
It's the wrong answer! And I'm afraid, Mr. Vicar, not only do you lose your entire parish, you also get to look extremely stupid!
Well, there we go, that was James there, his version of Chris Evans, and the competition, which is part of this wonderful little play that we're on about. And I'm talking now to Chris, who I suppose is the writer and the director. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the Exile Theatre Group, firstly?
Well, Exile Theatre was formed about a year ago, in July last year, to perform a show called Shades in Time, the not-so-secret show in Cirencester. This centred around, obviously, historical characters from that lovely little hamlet, or town, in the Cotswolds. But anyway, what happened was I got a group of actors together, and we performed this show, which basically takes the audience around a site where they meet various characters from Cirencester's past, and in this case, in the case of Shades in Time Martyrs in Gloucester, they're taken around the outside of Gloucester Cathedral Close, where they meet various characters from Gloucester's illustrious past, including, among others, Bishop John Hooper.
Can you just explain a little bit more then about how this current production works?
Well, basically what happens is that the audience all meet at the College Green, on the College Green. A guide takes them to Green Gate, where they're taken through by two real Tudor guides, who take them around the outside of the Gloucester Cathedral Close, where they meet Bishop Hooper, Bishop Bonner, various characters from Gloucester's past, and it's a discussion of the Reformation and the problems of obviously of being martyred and things like that, really.
So it's a wonderful concept. So the actual audience will follow you around the streets of Gloucester. How many do you expect in the audience?
Well, last night we got about 40 to 50. We're expecting 50 or so tonight. Hopefully much more, maybe 100 even, or 2,000. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But what we need is as many people as possible, because the more the merrier. And it's something that really should not be missed.
Right. So that was last night. I'm going to move round to Rachel, who plays Queen Mary.
Yes,
How was the reaction to this very unusual way of performing a theatre sort of production?
Well, I think people genuinely enjoyed it. It seemed like there was lots of surprises on the way round. You get to meet lots of different characters. I mean, I get to do an interesting interpretation of Martin Luther and a Marlon Brando type Pope as well. And you get to meet all these wonderful sort of characters on their way round. so it's quite interesting. And
Sorry.
everyone seemed to enjoy it.
Good. And that was last night. Of course, you're
Yeah.
playing tonight. So a quick plug. We'll do it again before the end. What time do you start?
8 p.m.
And what and whereabouts?
It's at the College Green. That's where the audience meet, by the gate.
Right. So I'm going to turn back now to James, who plays Chris Evans, and also a terrorist.
Yes.
I mean, can you explain a little bit about why? I suppose why have you got the terrorist and Chris Evans in the play?
Well, I mean, partly I think that comes down to the fevered imagination of Chris. But basically, I mean, a lot of it is about, I mean, obviously the problem with the church, as the affair of Bishop Hooper shows. And the actual, I mean, the role of the terrorist really is, I mean, it's part comic, and it's also serious as well. And the opening part is quite comic, and this sort of brings it back down to earth. I mean, it is a light-hearted look, but I mean, part of the role of the terrorist is that, well, there's a lot of blood and guts that have been spilled, you know, obviously through religion over the years, and the terrorist brings that into perspective, spells it out.
Okay, now we're going to turn back to Chris now, because I've been talking to the group here, as Chris, James, Matthew, Rachel, James again, and of course Robert and Adrian. Now they're all a little bit worried and wondering why and how you came across this concept.
What happened originally was that we wanted to create a piece, firstly, that would look at history using the actual geographical site of a historic place as an actual stage. So you've actually, rather than having to spend millions of pounds on building a Gloucester Cathedral replica, we actually use Gloucester Cathedral itself. That's one of the main reasons. But also the use of space, it's linked somewhat to the ghost walks that used to go on in York, where audiences would be taken around and ghosts would pop up. But whereas what we've done here is, rather than just focus on characters, we've focused on a plot as well. So the audience not only are meeting various characters, but they're actually learning the story along the way, because there's actually a linear plot that runs through it. And we're using the cathedral as a form of passion walk, eventually leading to Hooper's demise at his memorial, which is where he was burnt, of course.
Right, which is where we are at the moment. And I'm going to turn now to a couple of the bishops, played by Robert and Adrian. Now, how do you fancy sort of having all the audience following you around the town? Is it good fun?
Well, it's great fun, so long as they do actually follow us. You know, it's when they turn around and walk off in the opposite direction too early. No, it is fun. It's fun for the audience too, because as Rachel touched upon, very often characters are appearing pretty much out of the stonework, and it's surprising them in every sense of the word, and that keeps the interest going. It's a lovely feeling for an actor when normally the audience is trapped in their seats. The idea that you've actually got them to follow you round as you do your job is very satisfying feeling.
So I suppose people can't complain of being sat down for too long either.
No, nor can they say they weren't interested because they were following, so they must have been interested.
Absolutely, yes. Now, and I'm going to turn to the other. Now, what job were you doing?
Well, Bishop Bonner, who...
Bit of an evil character, I understand.
So I've been told he's not a particularly nice man, who tends to enjoy torture as a recreation, which I have to inflict on Robert, and burnings, which
and burnings as well.
Yes.
Well, I think for our second excerpt, we're gonna hear a little bit about the terrorist scene, aren't we? So here we go. They're just remembering the lines. Bit of music, perhaps. Here we go.
So I'll do the terrorist bit then.
Yes, go on then.
Okay then.
The battle over what to wear in church went on and on. This seemingly pathetic argument was just a small version of the whole Protestant-Catholic divide.
Right, nobody move! I said nobody move! Okay, what were we talking about?
The Protestant-Catholic divide.
Oh, how apt. Know much about it?
Only what I was telling the ladies and gentlemen.
You all know so little. Doesn't mean anything. We just kept on going, kept on killing. We killed a Catholic. They'd kill a Protestant. We killed a Protestant, they'd kill a Catholic.
Roaring stuff. Now, just go back to Chris finally. What time do you start tonight?
We start at 8 p.m. On the college at the entrance to the College Green in front of the cathedral. There's no point me pointing. I just pointed by the way.
Yes, he did.
Not very good on radio, is it? But the entrance to the cathedral, basically. And if you can, I'll be there from 7:30 selling tickets to anyone who wants to turn up a bit earlier and just hang around for a bit. But we basically start at 8 o'clock. So do come.
Okay, that's good. So that's again tonight, 8 o'clock. Be there or be square. We're going to finish now with a bit of song. So take it away, chaps.
bishop there was, Hooper by name, a godly man who puts others to shame. He believed one thing that the state disagreed with, was told if he carried on he would not live. But he stood his ground and was tried and convicted. Queen Mary and Bishop in ideals conflicted. They took him away to be burnt at Gloucester. He turned to his God with all the strength he could muster and said, "Take the Lord from my fire, burning so bright, give it to the pauper, shivering in the night. Take the flame from my hair, let it light your way. You'll know I was right when we meet again one day." As they dragged him along, he cried out for refreshment. The God thought that Hooper was full of resentment, till he offered him tobacco wrapped up in paper.
Wonderful stuff. That's the Exile Theatre performing Shades in Time, Martyrs. Tonight, the Gloucester Cathedral Close. It starts at 8 o'clock. But don't worry, if you can't get along tonight to see it, then they will be performing it next week as well. Thursday the 3rd and Friday the 4th of August, 8 o'clock, then the Cathedral Close. If you want to get your tickets in advance, and get in touch with the Gloucester Tourist Information Office, and you'll get them on Gloucester 421188. That's the TIC, Tourist Information Centre in Gloucester, on 421188. Or failing that, the Guildhall Arts Centre, you can get tickets there as well. And if you'd like to give them a ring and get hold of a few, then the number you need is 505089. That's Gloucester 505089. 3:45 then, Friday afternoon, the BBC across Gloucestershire. Steve Nibbs along after me at 4:05 with Drive Time, popping into the studio between now and the top of the hour for a chat. But we are off to the forest with Heather Geddes and her Forest Diary.